hot, proud, unforgettable. These are Taiwan's boldest new stars, young, openly LGBTQ+, and almost too good-looking for their own good. From steamy drama scenes to viral internet fame, they are not just breaking hearts, they are breaking every rule about what queer masculinity should look like. Think you can handle all 10? Stick with us, because things are about to get hotter. And if you live for stories that slay stereotypes and serve pride, welcome to LGBTQ+ vibes. Hit subscribe, your next obsession starts now. While most of the world has their eyes on drag queens, Wong Newton flips the script with swagger, suits, and a mustache that means business. Born in 1980 to Taiwanese parents, Wong is not just a drag king, he is a force of reinvention. With charisma that fills any room and a deep baritone charm, Wong has shattered stereotypes on stages from New York to Berlin, Tokyo to Sydney. Where others play characters, Wong builds a persona that feels like a gender revolution wrapped in laughter. He blends Asian identity with masculine camp in a way that makes you think, laugh, and cheer, all in one breath. Wong Newton's performances are not about imitation, they are about declaration. He owns masculinity in a way that is playful, political, and proudly queer. Whether hosting events for SAGE, advocating for LGBTQ+ elders, walking international runways, or starring in PepsiCo campaigns, Wong brings visibility to a space where drag kings are often overlooked. His look? Slick suits. His weapon? Wit. His impact? Global. And while many performers keep it surface level, Wong dives deep, using satire and showmanship to challenge how the world sees gender, power, and performance. For over 2 decades, Wong Newton has paved his own path, unapologetically. He is the kind of performer who turns a mic into a movement, who uses spotlight as protest, and whose every wink carries centuries of untold stories. In an industry often obsessed with queens, Wong proves that kings can reign too, and do it with style, grit, and grace. You may come for the comedy, but you will stay for the truth behind the tuxedo. In the golden age of Asian boy bands, Aaron Yan stood out, not just for his looks, but for his quiet intensity. Born in 1985, Aaron became a household name across Asia as a member of the wildly popular Mandopop group Fahrenheit. With his soulful eyes, cinematic charm, and a voice that melted hearts, he quickly rose to idol status. But what fans loved on stage, his vulnerability and authenticity, would later become the foundation for something far more powerful: his truth. In 2017, Aaron came out as gay, becoming one of the most high-profile male celebrities in Taiwan to do so. And in that moment, he turned fame into courage. His coming out was not packaged for headlines. It was deeply personal, rooted in years of hiding, pressure, and fear. Aaron spoke of love lost, of being outed without consent, and of the silent struggles so many queer Asians endure. But instead of shrinking, he stepped forward, and fans followed. Today, he is not just a singer or actor, he is a symbol. From starring in dramas like Memories of Love to advocating for mental health and LGBTQ+ rights, Aaron uses every platform to challenge stigma and amplify queer voices in Taiwan and beyond. What makes Aaron Yan remarkable is not just his honesty, it is his consistency. He speaks up when it is risky. He shows up when others stay silent. And he does it all with the grace of someone who has nothing left to prove. In an industry that once demanded perfection, Aaron chose authenticity. And in doing so, he redefined what it means to be a star, not just adored, but truly respected. He is still captivating, still magnetic, but now he is free. And that freedom, that is what makes him shine brightest of all. Some voices sing, others spark change, and Hush does both. Born in 1985 in Taiwan, Hush is not your typical pop star. With his signature glasses, poetic lyrics, and hauntingly emotional voice, he built a career not chasing fame, but telling the truth. As an openly gay singer-songwriter, Hush became a rare and powerful presence in Mandopop, a genre where queerness often stays hidden between the lines. But he refused to hide. Instead, he turned vulnerability into melody, and made music a mirror for the LGBTQ+ experience. Hush's breakout came with songs that felt more like confessionals than radio hits. Tracks like Same Answer and How Have You Been spoke of longing, heartbreak, and the quiet ache of invisibility. His lyrics never begged for acceptance, they declared existence. And when Taiwan became the first country in Asia to legalize same-sex marriage in 2019, Hush was not just celebrating from the sidelines, he was one of the artists who helped make it possible. Through concerts, interviews, and open conversations, he used his platform to normalize queerness in a culture still learning how to embrace it. But do not mistake his softness for weakness. Hush is fearless in his artistry. He blurs genres, bends expectations, and never apologizes for being exactly who he is. In a world of curated perfection, he offers something raw, thoughtful, and real. He is not just a voice for love. He is a voice for those who never thought they deserved to be heard. With every verse, he reminds us, queer stories are not side notes, they are center stage. And with Hush, that stage feels like home. Before the spotlight found him, Aben lived in shadows. Born in 1982, Aben, real name Chen Lynn, captured the hearts of audiences across Taiwan with his youthful energy, charm, and boyish good looks. As a rising star in television variety shows, he made people laugh, cheer, and feel seen. But behind the scenes, he carried a truth he kept hidden for most of his life. In an industry where image is everything and silence is survival, Aben lived two lives, one in front of the camera and one inside himself. That changed in 2023 when he sat down on national television and told the world he was gay. There was no script, no drama, just truth. With a calm, trembling voice, he spoke of the pain of hiding, the fear of losing everything, and the deep loneliness that came from pretending to be someone he was not. It was one of the most emotional and raw moments ever broadcast in Taiwanese media. And as he shared his story, countless viewers cried with him, not out of pity, but because they saw themselves in his words. His courage did not just make headlines, it made space for others to live authentically too. Since then, Aben has become more than just a host or a performer. He has become a beacon. Whether speaking at LGBTQ+ events or just being himself on screen, he radiates warmth, resilience, and pride. He shows young queer people that they do not have to choose between love and dreams. He proves that you can lose your fear and still keep your spotlight. In a society where many still hide behind smiles, Aben's honesty feels like a revolution. And that, more than any show he has ever hosted, may be the greatest performance of his life. Some actors chase fame. Lynn chases truth. Born in 1997, Eric stepped into the world of cinema not with noise, but with nuance. He did not storm red carpets or seek headlines. He let his craft do the talking. And it spoke volumes. His breakout moment came with Your Name Engraved Herein, Taiwan's highest-grossing LGBTQ+ film of all time. Though his role was small, his presence lingered, quiet, conflicted, and full of questions that mirrored the pain and beauty of a generation learning to love in silence. In a film about forbidden connection, Eric brought raw humanity to the screen without ever raising his voice. What makes Eric different is not just his talent, it is his instinct. He gravitates toward roles that explore identity, repression, and emotional fragility. His performances in independent films and experimental art projects show a young actor unafraid of vulnerability. He strips away the glamorous layers of stardom and gives us characters who ache, yearn, and stumble. There is something magnetic about his stillness, something haunting about the way he holds a gaze or delivers a single line. In an industry often obsessed with loud drama, Eric thrives in the soft spaces, in what is left unsaid. Off-screen, Lynn remains as enigmatic as many of his characters. He rarely gives interviews. He avoids celebrity status. But those who follow his work see the pattern. A quiet, deliberate voice pushing queer visibility in Asian cinema, not with slogans but with soul. Whether he identifies openly within the LGBTQ+ community or lets his art speak on his behalf, one thing is clear. Lynn is part of a new wave of actors redefining masculinity through honesty, intimacy, and depth. He may not be the loudest in the room, but he is the one you remember when the credits roll. He is not just another handsome face. He is the kind of actor who makes you feel something before he even speaks. Born in 1993, Mao came into the spotlight gradually, through indie projects and stage performances that showcased more than just good looks. He brought stillness, sensitivity, and simmering intensity, rare qualities that made him stand out in a sea of flashy stars. But it was Exclusive Love, 2025, the much-anticipated Taiwanese BL series that turned quiet admiration into full-blown fandom. Cast as a conflicted young man caught between duty and desire, Mao delivered a performance that was both tender and explosive, making every stolen glance feel like a thunderclap. What sets Qisheng apart is his complete lack of pretense. There is no vanity in his acting, only vulnerability. In Exclusive Love, he strips down emotionally, portraying a closeted university student who slowly unravels as he falls for someone he was never supposed to love. The chemistry is electric, but it is his internal war, the glances, the hesitation, the trembling honesty that stays with you. Mao brings queerness to the screen not as a gimmick, but as a deeply human experience. You do not watch him act, you watch him feel. And in doing so, he gives viewers, especially queer youth, the permission to feel too. Off-camera, Qisheng Mao maintains a humble presence. He has not labeled his sexuality publicly, choosing instead to let his work open doors, start conversations, and challenge norms. Whether he is part of the LGBTQ+ community or simply an ally, one thing is clear. He believes in the power of storytelling. And with Exclusive Love, he has helped reshape how queer love is portrayed in Taiwanese media. Honest, aching, and absolutely unforgettable. Qisheng is proof that sometimes the softest performances leave the deepest mark. Born in 1996, Edward was thrust into the spotlight with a role that would redefine queer cinema in Asia. In Your Name Engraved Herein, Taiwan's highest-grossing LGBTQ+ film, he portrayed Jiahan, a young man grappling with love, shame, and identity in a conservative all-boys school. It was a performance that felt almost too real, because it was. Edward brought every tremble, every glance, every unspoken word to life with haunting precision. His chemistry with co-star Tseng Jinghua was electric, but it was the rawness in his solo moments, the loneliness in a prayer, the silence after heartbreak, that made the world stop and feel. While many expected Edward to ride the wave of BL stardom into safer roles, he chose vulnerability instead. In 2023, he released his debut album Almost Human, a moody, atmospheric collection of songs that blurred the line between confession and performance. With a voice both aching and intimate, he sang about disconnection, self-doubt, and the beauty of feeling too much. The music, like his acting, was not about pleasing everyone, it was about telling the truth. Edward is not chasing fame, he is chasing honesty. And that, ironically, is what makes him unforgettable. Offstage, Edward remains gracefully elusive. He has never made a grand statement about his sexuality, choosing instead to let his art speak louder than any headline. But his impact on queer youth is undeniable. To many, he is not just an actor or a singer. He is proof that sensitive, soulful men can lead blockbuster films, sing heartbreak into poetry, and still hold space for those learning to love themselves. Edward Chen is not here to play a role. He is here to make you feel like you are not alone. And in today's world, that might be the most powerful performance of all. Did not just act in a love story, he became part of a cultural reckoning. Born in 1997, Tseng was already making quiet waves in the indie scene when he was cast as Birdie in Your Name Engraved Herein, a film that would go on to become the highest-grossing LGBTQ+ movie in Taiwanese history. As Birdie, a charming, conflicted teenager torn between desire and expectation, Tseng delivered a performance so raw, so aching, it felt almost too intimate to watch. His chemistry with Edward Chen was magnetic, but it was his restraint, the way he carried shame, longing, and fear in every pause, that elevated the film from touching to transcendent. Birdie is not an easy character. He laughs too loudly, hides too often, and runs when love gets too close. But that is what makes him real. Tseng gave Birdie a heartbeat, a soul, and a face that lingered long after the credits rolled. For many queer viewers, he became the embodiment of a truth they had lived but never seen on screen. And for Tseng, the role became something bigger than a breakout. It became a responsibility. Since then, he has chosen roles with depth and emotional weight, refusing to coast on heartthrob status. He is not interested in being a star. He is interested in being honest. Off-screen, Tseng keeps a low profile. He is humble, soft-spoken, and rarely talks about his personal life. but his work speaks volumes. He has become a symbol for a generation of queer youth searching for themselves in art. Whether he identifies as part of the LGBTQ+ community or simply an ally, one thing is clear. Zhang Jinghua gave queer cinema one of its most unforgettable faces. And in doing so, he reminded us that love, especially the kind that hurts, deserves to be seen, remembered, and honored. Before it was safe, before it was celebrated, Kevin Tsai stood up and said, "I'm gay." Born in 1962, Kevin Tsai is more than just a television host. He is a cultural architect. For decades, he has been one of Taiwan's most beloved media personalities, best known for co-hosting the legendary talk show Kangxi Lai Lei, where humor, honesty, and humanity collided on national TV. But beyond the witty comebacks and iconic interviews, Kevin carried something far more radical: his truth. In a time when the entertainment world demanded silence from queer figures, Kevin made a choice: to live openly, to speak proudly, and to show the world that being gay and being successful are not mutually exclusive. What makes Kevin's legacy so extraordinary is how effortlessly he merged intellect and empathy. With a degree from UCLA and a heart full of stories, he became a voice for the misunderstood. He wrote best-selling books about love, loneliness, and identity that resonated across generations. He brought queerness into living rooms not as a spectacle, but as something real, intelligent, and deeply human. And he did it with a smile. No shouting, no preaching, just grace. Kevin Tsai did not fight for the spotlight. He used it to make others feel seen. Today, Kevin is not only a pioneer in Taiwanese LGBTQ+ representation, he is a legend. His courage cracked open a conversation in a region where queerness was often cloaked in shame. He paved the way for the next generation of queer entertainers, thinkers, and dreamers to step forward without fear. He is proof that visibility is not just about being present. It is about being undeniable. And in a world that still struggles with acceptance, Kevin Tsai remains a guiding light. Funny, fearless, and forever iconic. In a country where traditions run deep, Sutsung Han chose to live loudly and love even louder. Born in 1980, Su is not your typical media personality. As a respected journalist and TV host, he built his reputation on intellect, professionalism, and a sharp eye for truth. But in 2016, he did something that would change his life and Taiwan's LGBTQ+ history forever. He became the first public figure in Taiwan to openly marry his same-sex partner. It was not a publicity stunt. It was not a bold political act. It was a simple human declaration. This is who I love, and I deserve to love him in the light. Su's decision to go public was groundbreaking, especially in a society where even whispers of queerness could end careers. But instead of fading, he flourished. With grace and vulnerability, he shared his story on national television, opening up about the struggles of growing up closeted, the fear of rejection, and the joy of finally being able to call someone husband without shame. His visibility gave a face to thousands who had been erased, and his story turned personal love into public inspiration. He became not just a journalist, but a symbol of what courage looks like when it wears a wedding ring. Since then, Sutsung Han has become a passionate advocate for LGBTQ+ families. He has hosted pride events, spoken out on issues like marriage equality and surrogacy, and helped organize Miaoli Love Wins, the first LGBTQ+ parade in his hometown. Through his calm but powerful voice, he continues to push for change, not with rage, but with reason. And in doing so, he reminds us that representation is not always loud. It can also be gentle, firm, and deeply personal. In the landscape of queer visibility in Asia, Su stands tall, not just as a man who married for love, but as one who dared to do it in the spotlight. They came, they conquered, they made you sweat a little. These 10 men are not just Taiwan's hottest, they are living proof that queer power is sexy, visible, and unstoppable. From redefining masculinity to setting screens on fire, they are changing the game and looking damn good doing it. Love the heat? Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned, because at LGBTQ+ Vibes, the next drop is always hotter. And trust us, you will not want to miss what's coming next.